Hello everyone, my name is Loko and welcome to some more Duelyst. Now a little while ago I uploaded a video where I explained the basics of Duelyst. In case you missed it, I will leave a link down below in the description of this video because today we're gonna be spending a little bit more time ranking up. Now before we jump on the ladder, I want to give a quick shout out to Counterplay Games for sponsoring this video. I've been having an absolute blast playing Duelyst for a couple of hours so far. Anyhow, let's have a look at the deck that I have been playing. So I do want to quickly point out that I am by no means a very great Duelyst player. I still got a lot to learn. I've played a couple of hours so far and I've actually yet to lose a game with the deck that I came up with. Now, I'm sure there is, room for improvements, but anyway, I want to try and explain the win condition that I wanted to try and implement in the game, right? So the one card that I really liked when ranking up some is the Divine Bond card. As you can see, it gives a minion plus attack equal to its health, which basically means that if you have, say, like a high mana minion, which has a lot of health but very little attack, you can boost it up significantly using the Divine Bond, and that's exactly what I've been trying to base this deck around. So what we've got right here is going to be the Lyonar Kingdoms, which is the ones that I just simply have been playing the most, with 3 Divine Bonds in here, and I got a couple of big minions right here at the bottom, namely the Iron Glyph Guardian, which is add drop and provoke, but it's more importantly a 3 attack minion with 10 health. And last but not least, we also got the Bone Reaper over here, which is just a very similar minion in a way, at the very least, for the fact that it also has a low amount of attack, but a crazy amount of health, and both of them work stupidly well together with the Divine Bond. Another card that I've been really enjoying is the Martyrdom right here. I played that in a previous video as well, and basically what it does, it destroys any minion on the board. It can also be your own, and it restores the minion's health to its general. So once again, we can use that in combination with the Bone Reaper and the Guardian in case, things go south and we aren't at a very good point anymore. But generally speaking, I found it to be the case that, at the very least on the lower end of the ladder, people are just simply trying to get really big minions out on the board, and it's safe for a couple of turns before they can actually play that. And, I can just basically destroy them in a single turn. And other than that, I basically just put a whole bunch of cards in here with Provoke, as well as the Celerity, that basically allows them to attack twice in a turn, which can once again be very helpful with the other cards that we've already seen in the Divine Bond right here. And, all in all, I've also got a couple of Zeal cards in here, but all in all, this has been working brilliantly. One of the cards, by the way, that I've also been enjoying is going to be the Crossbones. It destroys any minion with ranged. And it seems to be, in particular, once again, on the lower end of the ladder, that people are just simply trying to get their ranged minions out as early as possible, and we can just sort of destroy that and completely break their tempo. Now, I am sure that there is still a ton of room for improvement, but I've been having a blast trying to figure out what win condition I can get away with and what works and what doesn't. So I'm sure I will be switching this out a lot more in the future. But anyhow, it is time for us to see if we can rank up some more. Gonna be selecting the Lyonar Dreams. We're gonna search for a match.
Lyonar versus the Truvian.
Alrighty, so here we are. I'm gonna be allowed to obviously switch out a couple of the cards right from the get-go. Question is, do we want to keep the Divine Bond this early on? I think I could, but technically speaking, I think I'm gonna get rid of at least 2 of those. We're looking for something a little bit, with a better curve. I think this will, this will do fine. One of the cards that I haven't shown you yet is going to be the Primus Fist. It basically gives a nearby friendly minion +2 attack for a single turn, and that obviously works really well in combination with the Windblade Adept, who I am going to go ahead and play just right from the get-go. Obviously, we do start off with quite a little bit of mana. I will be able to start grabbing some additional mana very shortly as well, which should be fine, which should definitely be doable. But by the way, going up right here against Xerix, ideally I prevent him from grabbing that mana spring so he doesn't get an additional mana to use in the next turn. It looks, however, that he's already grabbed it himself, which is fine. Don't know if he's going to be capable of playing a second minion here as well. Yep, he actually has decided to go for it. These minions do have Frenzy, and what that basically means is that they will be able to strike several, enemy minions at once as well. So that is one thing to keep in mind. It's not too terrifying, though. Now, there are a couple of options. First and foremost, I think what I'm gonna do is move my hero forwards, loot the extra mana right over there, kill the minion, which is fine, It is going to hit, obviously. We did lose that Zeal, by the way, because it's not close to my hero anymore. But at the same time, I can go ahead and use my Shield Master, now that we have gotten an additional, an additional mana, because of the Adept moving over, to provoke both of the minions from the enemies that are out on the board right now. Now, there's one thing to keep in mind, and that is going to be the Bloodborn spell. That activates very, very shortly, and it's super good. Basically, what happens is I can give... we do need to get rid of that thing. There we go. It can give a nearby minion +2 attack permanently. It's super powerful. And in particular, it seems to be that the Lyonar Kingdoms, every single, kingdom in the game, or every single sort of like class or race in the game has... separate kinds of Bloodborne spells, but it really allows you to get some crazy burst in it, and sometimes you can just straight up win the game because of that. And I found out that so far it seems to work in particular very well when you are playing, the early to mid game with these decks. Now let's see. I can go ahead and play a couple of minions here at once. I mean, I'm not entirely sure if the Windblade Adept is going to really get any kind of damage off here anymore. None of these are really lining up too well, but I really do want to go ahead and use my Bloodborne spell here. So what we can do is just simply burst her down a little bit more. I actually know if it's a him or a her. Anyhow, I think I'm going to go ahead and play the, you know what? We'll actually go ahead and draw another card here instead, early on. He's also going to be drawing another card, which is fine. I'll make sure to boost up that minion. And the question is, do I want to attack here or do I not? You know what? I think I'll just go ahead and keep it alive for a little bit longer. He obviously does have 2 additional attack here for a little while, but... I think we'll be alright. I think we will be alright. He obviously got his own Bloodborne spell right now as well. It summons a 2/2 Iron Dervish on a random space nearby your general. It's a random space, so it can be anywhere around him. This is fine by me. Obviously, we win if their general drops down to 0 HP, which is fine. Okay. It's very good for me so far. So we can go ahead and play the Dancing Blades next. Now, I'm not entirely sure how it triggers, to be completely honest with you. I believe that it will trigger right in front of it. Now, I'm not sure if we can turn it around or whatever, but what I can do is make sure that their general gets hit here as well. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is move my my hero over, shoot down their minion because I may as well. And I think we're gonna go ahead here and play the Dancing Blades just because I can. Obviously that will hey, does it not hit? Oh, it only hits minions, obviously. Oh, that's actually a mistake by me. Minor mistake, shouldn't be that big of a deal. Still got a lot to learn in that regard as well, I suppose. But this should still be a very beefy minion that we can play. Now, once again, I got the, the option now to hit him in the face. I think I'm gonna just simply decide not to. I think I'm just gonna simply decide not to do so. Yeah, this has been quite helpful as well in many scenarios. And he actually decides to attack it himself, so that's fine by me. Alright, so we may have to start looking for a Martyrdom here, ideally. I can kill it using my Primus Fist here, but ideally I'd use a Martyrdom. So we'll replace a card. I get the Sunbloom. I get the Sunbloom here. Couple of options though, because I can also obviously just simply attack. Hold on, let me have a quick look. We'll go ahead and boost up the minion here. We're gonna simply boost up the minion. And I guess I can just also, if I'm not messing it up, just simply boost him down to 0 HP and therefore win the game. Hey, that works for me. Sweet! Now, even though I made a minor misplay there, right, with the 5 mana minion, I probably could have optimized it a little bit more. It still ended up giving us the lethal. And the one thing that I've been really enjoying, and I've been trying to grasp that, I suppose, but the one thing I've been really enjoying about the game is the fact that the RNG is significantly smaller. And what I mean with that is that the RNG is... like the randomness in the game is basically taken out of the equation in many scenarios, as it all comes down to positioning and smartly playing. I mean, I by no means have the craziest best cards in the world, but so far it's all been working out very, very well. Anyhow, let's go ahead and see if we can win another one.
Lyonar versus Lyonar.
Alrighty. So we've got another one. This time around, it is going to be against the same faction. So I'm gonna have to get rid of a couple of cards once again. Don't think we're gonna keep the Tempest here, because it's not going to be all too helpful. And I don't think I want to be keeping the Saber Spine here either. The one thing that we can keep though is going to be the Elysian Brawler as well as the Lasting Judgment. It can be used. You know what? I'm actually gonna get rid of that one as well, and just keep the Saber Spine here just to get a 2, 3, and 4 drop. I think that'll do just fine. Anyhow, one of the unique things of the Lyonar Kingdoms is the fact that we've got this thing called Zeal. Now, apparently my opponent wants to give me the GLHF, so I'll give him a GLHF real quick as well. But one of the unique things we have is going to be Zeal. And Zeal basically means that as long as it is going to be adjacent to my hero by any of those squares, it is going to be getting an additional +2 attack. It's going to get the Lion Strength. And that's one of the unique things from Lyonar, as far as I'm aware at the very least. I have not seen it in any of the other factions. And it's been a really cool, you know, addition. Obviously, we're going to be seeing that a lot in this matchup, as obviously we're going to be having 2 Lyonars against each other. But we gotta make some smart moves here. By the way, this minion right here has Rush. That means that it can go ahead and attack in the same turn as I am also playing it. So I could technically take both of the mana crystals here. It's kind of funny how the mana crystals really decide the flow of the game. I didn't think of them very, very highly when I first started playing, but it's actually been a, you know, kind of an interesting scenario. Okay, so he's gonna go ahead and pick the very first one, which is fine for me. So we could, for example, just simply play the tiger right now as well. Ideally, though, I would like to go ahead and play him instead. There we go. Hold on. What's going to be the correct play here? I wanted to go ahead and kill that minion, right? The problem is that obviously we need to be getting rid of both of these tigers as soon as we possibly can. But I also don't want him to grab the additional little bit of sustain here. So here's what we do. I'll move these guys over, just like that. We'll kill at the very least one of their minions, which should work out just fine. As right now the Celerity one right here, the Azurite Lion, is only going to move 2 squares over. So technically you could kill the blade there. Not too worried about that. And I do want to start getting rid of at least some of my cards. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that one. We got a Martyrdom. That's very nice. Question is, do I want to play the Primus Fist here as well? It does give a +2 attack, but I've got nothing else really to play at this point in the game. So you know what? I'm just simply going to go ahead and play it right now as well. There's no particular reason, obviously, to make use of its, you know, of its opening right there, but it's still better than saving the 2 mana, I think. As I've got plenty of 2 mana cards in the deck. At least most of the card flow is very focused around the 2 mana mark. And I think it'll be helpful once we get our, you know, our Bloodborn spell here as well. That I will be able to use that, at least on several minions, and see which one is going to be most efficient. Next up, I can go ahead and start playing the Elysian Brawler. And very soon I can get the Ironcliff, you know, Guardian. We did just, by the way, draw into the Divine Bond. So this is the combination that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Stupidly powerful. Basically, the Ironcliff Guardian, like I said, basically gets, you know, this thing called Provoke, which means that the minions can't attack it, which is predominantly, you know, on the Lyonar Kingdoms, it seems like, but it also has airdrops, so I can drop it anywhere on the map. And then I can boost it up with the Divine Bond. Okay, so that was to be expected. This is fine though, because we can just use our Bloodborn spell here next. Okay, interesting. Okay. This is perfect for me. Okay, so he's gonna go ahead and heal a minion up. Okay, that's nice positioning by him. Very nice positioning by him indeed. I was gonna say I might be in trouble. Yeah, I do need to start getting rid of his minions. Sadly, none of this is working out brilliantly so far. I can move my hero down 1. Which will obviously allow me to once again one-shot that. But that means I'm not going to be able to use my Bloodborn spell. But ideally, I would play the Lycian Brawler right now. I could use the Martyrdom on both of these, or on one of these, and clean up the rest of the board. But I'm pretty sure that will just waste my... I'm pretty sure that will just waste the other strength that I've got going on so far. Because, I would lose all the tempo, right? I wouldn't have anything left on the board that's really beefy, and I think this is going to be a smarter move. I'm gonna go ahead and play that right over there, which should be fine. As obviously, if he moves it through, that's fine as well, because it will still die in a single hit. And on that, I'm just gonna simply end my turn. This is where the randomness, what I was talking about, is very, very clear, right? There's very little of it, as there's, you know, a lot more than just simply... There's a lot more than just simply having, like, a random number roll on the screen and cross your fingers and hope it's gonna be in your favor, right? Because this all just simply comes down to positioning and, you know, working a couple of turns ahead and trying to assume what your opponent is going for, while also positioning your minions accordingly to what he's not only going to be playing in the next turn, but also in the ones after that. Okay, so he's really focused on hitting my hero. I think that's an advantage for me. In particular, once I will be able to play my Provoke very shortly. Okay. So he's playing the Tempest. Very nicely done. Okay. So sadly we are 1 mana short to properly deal with all of this. But I do want to go ahead and get my big combo out on the map right now. I think this is going to be our best bet. I'll keep the Martyrdom. I'll keep the Azerite Lioness. I will be able to play that in the next turn in combination with the Bloodborn spell, as well as the Divine Bond. So I think this is fine. I'm not... Well... You know what? I'll just go ahead and hit him as well. Okay. So there we do indeed get a Blaze Hound, once again, giving us an additional little bit of card draw. I am starting to run low on cards. So this is fine. Obviously, the longer games go on, generally speaking, the higher the chance is that you're going to be running low on cards. So getting these is kind of helpful, as it's still also a powerful 3 mana drop. Just on its own, as it's 4/3. This is starting to be a pretty close match, though. I'm very low in HP already. I only got 11 remaining. Now, generally speaking, it seems to be that Lyonar Kingdoms are not all about burst. Okay. So he's still hitting my hero like crazy. I'm gonna need some Provoke. Or I could try and go for the burst here. Actually, you know what? I can just simply burst him down. Right? Hold on, let me do a little bit of math. Yeah, this will do just fine. There we go. Sometimes I have the tendency to play a little bit too careful, which I guess is fine. But if we can win the game, I think I should indeed just go for that big combo and indeed pick up another victory. Nice. Now, I did just unlock enough gold for 2 Spirit Orbs, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just simply going to spend both of those. There we go. I'm gonna spend all of that, I mean, on getting 2 more Spirit Orbs, and therefore, hopefully get some more good cards. I still love that opening animation. Looks so very cool. And actually, we got some cool cards here as well. None in particular that I've been looking for. While searching for some decks online, it seemed like Maul was a relatively popular minion. At the very least, as far as Lyonar decks go. And we actually just got a Fire Blazer, which I've also, you know, seen being used. Other than that, though, I think we'll be okay with the deck we currently have. So this is what I do every now and then after playing a couple of matches, in particular when it's Lyonar versus Lyonar, right? In that previous match, I was actually kind of impressed how annoying the Azerite Lions were. Now, I already am running 2 of them in the deck, but I haven't been playing them very early on whatsoever. I'm kind of contemplating to maybe get rid of one of the Primus Fists, as I don't seem to be playing them nearly as often, and maybe see if I can replace one of the, or like, you know, add one of the, you know, other minions out in the deck. Now, I'm not entirely sure what we are looking for here, but I could, you know, I could also just add a neutral minion, I guess. You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the Shroud in here. It dispels one nearby space. It's a 2-mana 2/2. But because it dispels, we could get rid of a lot of early game threats. I think that's super helpful. Obviously, we are also currently running a Sunbloom, but that doesn't spawn a minion. So, you know, maybe I could even get rid of one of the Sunblooms. You know what? I'll just give this a try instead.
Lyonar versus Abyssian.
Alrighty, our sun casts away all the shadow, and she says, feel the edge of suffering. All good for me. Once again, we're gonna be looking for some, you know, some early game minions here. We actually got a very nice curve, all things considered. I don't know if we need all of these, though. I actually don't mind it. The thing is, I've got no spells in hand, so we got very little variety, I guess, early on. But, to be fair, I don't think this is bad. We're still going to be drawing, obviously. I want to try and get as many of those mana springs as we possibly can. So I have to make sure I start playing my my celerity minions right from the get-go here. Obviously, getting the Azerite Lion seems to be super helpful. It seemed to be very good. Provoke, once again, by the way, doesn't allow my enemies to move around. So if she doesn't have a minion right now, we're going to be a pain in the ass. If she doesn't play a minion right in front of her, well, it looks like she is going to. At the very least, she's contemplating doing it. But if she doesn't, that seems to be pretty difficult. Wow, okay. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well done. Whoa, okay. So, Lily the Blight Chaser is being a pain in the ass. It's basically what's going on right now. I've had this happen once before where, you know, it basically just, is one of those heroes that spawns like crazy. She keeps on spawning new things all the dang time. Now, obviously, we're going to be able to get rid of most of these things. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of him. And I can indeed deal with most of the aggression right now as well. But I'll have to be relatively careful. Obviously, he can attack twice a turn, right? So I could also just simply move onwards here for a little while longer. Or actually, I don't really need to move either. Because I can just play the minion right in front of us and start provoking these. He also does have the Zeal effect. So everything considered, I think this should still be okay. Don't know if we're gonna need the Dancing Blades this time around, but I don't really need to replace anything either. I got a lot of options. There we go. We got another Shield Master. Now, you have this effect called Frenzy, right? That basically makes sure that you hit around you. That effect would probably be really good against Lily. At the very least, I can imagine it is. Great. She just pushed it away. Dying Wish. Turn this space into Shadow Creep. Okay. Come on now. You need to get back into the combat. You're being way too slow. We'll have to get rid of the Shadow Creep, I suppose. Or we'll have to get rid of the minion at the very least. Now it's going to be spawning Shadow Creep. Deals damage equal to the number of Shadow Creep spaces at the end of the owner's turn. So I can obviously just play around that. It's not that big of a deal. But it does mean that we're on a little bit of a timer in that regard. So once again, I'm playing another minion here to provoke her, just so she doesn't keep on moving around. We still have our, you know, our Bloodborn spell ready to go as well, but I think I do want to... I could actually just play another Provoke minion as well next turn, not a big deal. Ideally, we do start looking for the Divine spell, though. Oh my god. She plays so very differently than the other minions out, or the other heroes in the game. It's kind of crazy. But generally speaking, like, I don't think I've lost a single game against them yet. Also, before starting to run this deck, it seems to be just fine. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that minion there. And then play the Dancing Blades. Right? If we let her build up, That's where things get scary. Now we gotta be careful, because the Death Watcher right here gains extra damage whenever a minion dies. So that also includes my own minions. But I'm not planning on letting it go that far. Oh man. She just destroyed that like it was nothing. She's buffing it up like crazy. Maybe I should have actually focused on that Shadow Watcher a little more. Okay, well we got all of our big minions out now. I want to start looking. I want to start digging. He's, by the way, finally back in combat. Very good. But we just have to be careful about that. Okay, we'll move him over. I think I could technically just go ahead and play the or attack the Wraithling, but I ideally don't want to risk it. I'll go ahead and get rid of the Primus here. Okay, there we go. Whoa, perfect. Once again, I'm getting a Divine Bond really early on, which is great for me. We'll go ahead and provoke her and boost them up. Once again, we got that crazy burst here, right? Even though generally speaking, it doesn't seem to be that the kingdoms are, you know, the ones that we're playing right now are really focusing on all of this, on all of the burst damage. The divine bond is really like stupidly powerful, right? If played well, really, really, really strong. So this minion is being buffed up like mad, but I'm not planning on really letting it come into play. He's obviously still provoked, which is fine for me. That's fine for me. Okay, so how much damage do we have at this point? I don't have any healing in here at the moment. But at the very least, we can buff him up, right? Now, if there's a way for me to push onwards just a little bit more. Oh, man. This just barely doesn't line up. Am I missing something really big here? Oh, yeah, no, I can. I was just almost missing it there. That should kill that minion. That means I can move onwards. Kill her. And then hit her as well with the other minion. Woo! Almost missed that one there. It does require a little bit of thinking, because I didn't have the space to move around there. But we ended up picking up another victory. Nice.
Songhai versus Lyonar.
Alrighty, so this is going to be our final match for today. Now this time around, I'm by the way spawning here on the right side. You can spawn on either side. So far, I believe we've only spawned on the left. But that's okay. This time around, we're obviously going up against another opposing faction. So this time, they've got the spell to summon a Heartseeker nearby your general. Okay. So we'll have to make sure that we play around it. So first and foremost, she ended up playing a minion called the Rock Pulverizer. That also is a 1/4 minion right here with Provoke. Now, I can go ahead and play 2 minions here right from the get-go, and I think I should. Even though I'm not going to be able to use the opening gambit right here of the Primus Fist. I may as well. It's going to give +2 attack, and we're going to lose the +2 attack. Nice. Very good draw there, actually. I was contemplating if I should replace something, but that's very good. Don't want to be too low as far as the mana curve goes, obviously. Okay. So she gets another Rock Pulverizer out, apparently. Nothing too worrisome, because we do have another Primus Fist here. We can kill all of that very easily. Wow, okay. Issue here obviously is that I'm not having quite enough damage here yet. I'm gonna get my Provokes or my my Bloodborn spell here in the next turn. Ideally, I could get rid of all of these very easily, but... This is just all just barely not lining up, huh? I'm gonna get rid of the Saber Spine real quick, see if we get something better. Okay, we get another 4 mana drop. I think this is probably going to be our best option, at least for the time being, so we can clean up one of them. Even though it's not the most mana efficient play, I was hoping to get another 2-drop. The chance was big, but we didn't quite get it. Okay. So there we do see the Widowmaker go down, the 2-3 ranged. Don't quite have my card yet to get rid of it very quickly. We'll see if we can draw into that. There are a lot of people that play this game as well in the lower regions, in the lower ranks on the ladder, that got a lot of fancy cards. I mean, I haven't seen half of those ever. So it just simply be a case of, you know, obviously purchasing more spirit orbs. Which is fine. That's like an option I guess you have to make for yourself. We are definitely going to be playing the Shield Master right now, though. I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this minion right here. And even though I technically could boost up my Primus Fist here, I think I'm gonna use my Bloodborn spell on him instead and go from there. Didn't really wanna, you know, wait with it either. Need to make some room. Okay, so we got a Martyrdom, so or a Lasting Judgment here, sadly. I could obviously also use this on any enemy minion and just simply kill them with that. I mean, I could just use it on the Widowmaker, and technically speaking, it's gonna lose, you know, 3 health, so that should be fine for me. It is obviously Provoke at the moment, though, so it'll likely be down by the time we get there. I'd like to once again start working for our big minions here, if we can. I got the Divine Bond ready to go. And even though we're only drawing 1 card a turn, and we've got 40 cards in the deck, it's all been working very nicely for us, at least thus far. Now, I haven't seen all these cards, by the way. I'm not sure if they are coming from Spirit Orbs. I just haven't simply seen them very often. Which is fine. Considering we right now have 6 attack, let's go ahead and use the Lasting Judgment on that thing. There we go. Get rid of it. Get rid of it! And I think we can also, well, we'll go ahead and replace here. Ideally, obviously, we replace early on in the turn. There we go. I can go ahead and play that in the next one, which is fine. We'll go ahead and Provoke for the moment. And then play the Bone Reaper in combination with the Divine Bond as early as possible. Now, that hero isn't going anywhere. She doesn't have a silence that's going to be too good in here. And I think I should just go ahead and just not attack with my hero. No particular reason for it. I'd rather keep my health a little bit higher, as we are going to nuke her down from a high amount of HP. I also do have my my ability once again ready to go, by the way. So he deals double damage to generals. Okay. Well, hey, it looks like she actually decided to leave the combat. And that means that we once again picked up another victory. Nice. Alrighty, so that's going to be the final ladder match for today. But there's one more thing that I want to try and complete as well. And that is going to be the daily challenge. So the goal is going to be to defeat the Abyssan General in a single turn. I've been loving those. Those are so cool. Okay, so hold on. This is going to be, once again, so very difficult. We got Vat the Immortal right here, which gives my general +1 attack with the Bloodborn spell. That's fine. That is going to be available here as well. This is going to be the enemy hero who we need to nuke down as early as we can. And we got a whole bunch of things in hand right now as well. So we got the Repulsor Beast that will be able to push any of their minions away. We got an Agmorph. We got a Flash Incarnation. And we got Zenru with the Blight Spawn. Take control of a nearby enemy minion with 2 or less attack. Okay, so there are a couple of things that I can go ahead and do. I can use this egg on her, right? I can use this, turn a non-egg minion into an egg. I can use this on that minion right there. And the reason for that is that the Shadow Dancer is really going to mess things up. I think that is going to be one of the moves we need to make. Now, after looking at this for a little while more, What I think I need to go ahead and do as well is push away the Wraithling using the Repulsor Beast. So there are a couple of ways I could do this. I could obviously just simply clean up the minion that way. Then move him forward and spawn the Repulsor Beast there. Which allows me to push it anywhere. At which point I can start walking onwards. And, you know, obviously after attacking this as well, I could start moving onwards towards Lily and do the damage to her. But this just barely doesn't line up. I'm not actually entirely sure what happens when we hatch an egg. I mean, it turns a non-egg minion into an egg, or it hatches an egg. Hold on, let me see. What does it do? So we put that thing in an egg, which I guess is fine. It will hatch into a Shadow Dancer. Is that just a minion that we already saw just now? Huh. I think I'm on the right track, but that's not it. Hold on, let me try once again. So I'll turn her into that thingy. We'll turn her into that thingy. We can also move him forward, I guess, and just simply play it that way. And then play the Repulsor Beast right over there. Now I'm gonna have to be careful with the way I'm spawning things, right? Because we wanna minimize the chances of it doing anything scary. What we can do is play the Flash Incarnation right now and play Zenru with the Blight spawned, just sort of in that crack over there, and then take control of the egg. Does that work? Wait, and now if I hatch the egg, will it be in my favor? Is this now... Oh, that's now my minion, so I can move through. Right? So that means that every single time I will now hit any minion. Or every single time I deal 1 damage to the enemy minion, that will be good, but... Hold on, if I hit her like that. There we go, exactly. Oh man, okay. So now I think... Wait, the only thing left to do is just simply run minions into him, right? The Wraithling? Ooh, I actually was considering just putting him in the top left corner, but I think this works. Oh my god. Did I just magically do it? I actually didn't anticipate I would be able to do it. I was just considering simply, you know, throwing him in the top left corner. But I guess that works as well. Nice. Anyhow, that is where I'm going to be ending this video. Now, if you want to give Duelyst a try as well, I will leave a link to the game in the description of the video. Make sure to click that link if you are interested. But other than that, I want to thank you all very much so for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you all in the next one. Boo!